Now, we do enjoy reading Bernard Salt's work in the Australian newspaper, and I was quite taken by this, and I'll tell you why in a minute. He said, another Americanism has snuck its way into the Australian lexicon, primarily via the term bro, short for brother, which is, as he says, African-American slang, is widely used here to the extent that I wonder whether it's on a mission to supplant that most Australian of terms mate. And you go, oh, goodness, I wonder if it's not doing that now big time. And then I thought, I might have mentioned this a week or two back, I was listening to a podcast which I enjoy from America called Smartless. Jason Bateman's in there and a couple of his mates. And they interview a high-profile guest, and two of the three that do the interviewing don't know who the guest will be until they start talking. Anyway, it was Rose Byrne, the very good Australian actress. And I think it was Bateman who said to Rose Byrne, hey, do you guys still say fair dinkum? And she said, oh, no, not really. That's very 1980s. And as someone that says fair dinkum quite a bit, I have to say, I thought, what? Am I that far off the pace? I was horrified, to be honest with you. Anyway, let's have a chat to Bernard Salt and see what's happening to our lingo. I'm delighted to say he's on the line. Hope you're well.
Oh, hi, Luke. Yes, good to be here.
Or should I say, I hope you're well, bro. Where has this come from? This is, I suppose, movies and social media and music and all that culture, which, you know, young people in Australia just take on board.
Very much so. In fact, it's very common amongst the millennial and younger generations. Some people have suggested that it has come from New Zealand, and I think that's certainly the case, but it is also widely used in the US, and especially in the African-American community, and it effectively means mate. And it's so common here, I can't see it actually pairing up with our phrase, g'day mate, which is quintessentially Australian. We're not going to say, g'day bro. So if mate goes and it's replaced by bro, then g'day is threatened because those two go together. Yeah. And look, you know, I like the Americans and, you know, I like their movies and culture and so forth. But I reckon we've got to start making a stand. Otherwise, we lose our identity. I mean, words like XYZ instead of XYZ is another one. Do the math. Is becoming more popular, let alone things like Valentine's Day, Halloween, and now Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving. We even know when Thanksgiving is. I mean, they know we know their culture. They don't know our culture. Yeah,
it's a very, very good point. In fact, you know, I noticed that g'day is often dropped now, replaced by hey. So it'll be hey. And just that one word, hey, which means good day, I guess, or hey, bro, and then that, you know, you get those two American things combined. They're things to be proud of. I mean, we both don't want to sound like the old blokes on the radio, but we grew up with them. And to think that we're the generation that might say goodbye to this very special Australian language is, you know, terribly sad. But things like cobber, things like digger, you know, we hear, hey, bud, which is, I think, very American as well. And even bloke, you know, these are terms that, you know, they're ours and we can't lose them, can we?
No, in fact, I think we do need to make a stand and to hang on to them. But if you think of it, mate, maybe it's on its way out. Bloke, I think, is a bit too blokey these days. Mate was quite pliable, very plastic. You know, mate could apply to men and women. Guys was more universal than bloke, so I can see why that replaced bloke. But bro is generally used for males, and it seems to be gathering momentum. It is still very, very much a young person's term, so it hasn't moved beyond, say, 40 or 45, you know, the age of 40, 45. You don't hear politicians saying. Politicians will say mate. But they won't say bro. That's a step too far. So there's still a retaining wall holding bro back at the moment before it gets universal impact in Australia.
There was a bit of a cringe, wasn't there? You know, you're sounding like an Australian. I don't know why that rings in my mind, but it does. I don't know if we thought, you know, we better drop this stuff to be more like the English maybe a few decades ago. You know, that's not the Queen's English, that kind of thing. But of course that's been moved aside by the Americanisation of our language. What about in Britain? Now, interestingly, I think you make the point that bro's not used in Britain. They use something else, don't they?
They do. I've heard the term bruv, as in brother,
Right.
B-R-U-V, which I think is really an East End London term. Brother is the kind of word you would use, you know, sort of Arthur Daly would use that term. You know, I think there are, and certainly bro is used extensively in New Zealand, but I don't think it would have started there. It would have started in the US, then spread to New Zealand, then to Australia. The real measure of whether we have lost our language identity will be if ever we stop saying mum, as in M-U-M, and start saying mom, M-O-M. Now, the way things are going, I would say, you know, by about 2030, mum could be threatened by mom. And if that's the case, then, you know, we will then have been converted into a cultural state of America. In fact, you know, the fact that you look at you know, sport on television, we'll hear about the Super Bowl or the NBA or NFL or whatever it is over there. You know, we're sort of brought up to date with that. It's cable television, all the social media. Sort of, we're absorbing American culture at a rate of knots. Yeah. Is the point that I'm making. Let's make a stand here. Yeah,
well said. I don't know how pathetic this sounds, but I'm going to say it because it's absolutely true. I love it when I go into, for example, a shop and the person serving me might have only lived in this country for, 5 years or 10 years. How do you tell? I don't know how to tell, but they say, have a good day, mate. In broken English. And Bernard, I absolutely love it. I get a spring in my step. And I only say that because we are a mix of different cultures, obviously, but there is that great Australian residue from last century that just makes us, you know, that little bit different, that little bit Aussie. Gosh, I hope we don't lose that, but I'm worried.
Yeah, I do like that too, and especially when someone will say in an accent, you know, they're sort of connecting, and they'll say, how's your day going?
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty good. Pretty good. So look, I don't think Americans have picked up on as yet. So that's sort of one that we're holding out on. Brilliant. But yes, if mom falls, then our nation has fallen. Hold on to mum.
Hold on to mum. Bernard Salt, the Managing Director of the Demographics Group, columnist with the Australian newspaper. Always good to talk to you, Bernard. Thanks a lot, mate.
Thanks, bro.